Well, there's a new report in Britain this morning, and it suggests that the UK needs to get tough with China over its treatment of its Uyghur Muslim minority. Now, some of the recommendations are calling for a boycott on certain goods, even a ban on some international sporting events that China is set to host. So with that, let's go to Tessa Arcilia in London. So talk to us about this report, Tessa. What are the details?
Well, this report, Michael, is essentially following on the already tough rhetoric of the British government. But some of the politicians, the MPs of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Parliament said, well, tough words are not enough. We need action. And this report is exactly that, a 37-page list of potential actions that the government can actually do. So one of those things, you talked about sporting events there, boycotting the 2022 Winter Beijing Olympics. They think that if you send ministers or even members of the royal family to China, that would be a PR coup for the country. And also they are calling for banning cotton imports or other products that come from the region, as well as getting businesses to try to weed out and get out any form of forced labor in their supply chains. Now, this is really trying to involve not just government, but the entire economic and trade system here. And also they want to hold China accountable through UN bodies. And for Uyghur asylum seekers, they want to make it easier. They want to have a fast-track system. So all of these are just some of the ideas put onto the table by some of these politicians. Now, let's not forget to mention China's position on this. They have long denied any of these accusations. They say that these are simply unfounded. And they said, quote, they are fabricated out of ignorance and prejudice. Now, as far as the politicians involved pushing this are concerned, they think that words really have had no effect. And, in doing business, they acknowledge that there are some parts where we have to cooperate with China and some parts where China just needs to be called out. And this is including putting pressure on China on the alleged treatment of their Uyghur communities there. Michael?
So talk to us about the reaction then, particularly from British politicians who've been calling for action.
Yeah, I mean, this, for them, they think this is really the next step. We know that already, not just from the UK, but from Canada, the US, the European Union, everybody seems to be on the same page when it comes to how to deal with China, basically backing up those tough words with action. We saw the G7 communique, the NATO communique recently, all of them asking China to respect human rights in Xinjiang and in Hong Kong. So all these issues coming up. Now, I spoke earlier to the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee that drafted and drew up this report. And he said this is not just symbolic this time. This really needs to be something concrete. Take a listen.
They are certainly symbolic, but some of them are much more than that. If we can get together and make sure that countries like yours and ours do actually reject technology that has been used in the surveillance state, for example, then I think we can start to change the way in which different countries around the world see the authoritarian regime that is currently governing in Beijing.
At the end of the day, Michael, he also told me it's not about being xenophobic. In fact, it's, still wanting to work with China. It's just trying to call out China on some of these things that really do not, they're not on the same page when it comes to values and human rights issues. Michael?
Okay, Tessa, thank you for that. Tessa Arcilia in London.